Hello everyone, this is CircuitPython Weekly for Monday, April 7th, 2025. It's a time of the week where we get together to talk about all things CircuitPython. I'm Liz, and I'm sponsored by Adafruit to work on CircuitPython. CircuitPython is a version of Python designed to run on tiny computers called microcontrollers. CircuitPython development is primarily sponsored by Adafruit, so if you want to support Adafruit and CircuitPython, please consider purchasing hardware from adafruit.com. This meeting is hosted on the Adafruit Discord server. You can join anytime by going to adafruit.it/discord. We hold the meeting in the CircuitPython dev text channel and the CircuitPython voice channel. This meeting typically happens on Mondays at 2 p.m. US Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, except when it coincides with a US holiday. In the notes doc, there's a link to a calendar you can view online or add to your favorite calendar app. We also send notifications about upcoming meetings via Discord. If you would like to receive these notifications, ask us to add you to the CircuitPython NISA's Discord role. There is a shared notes document that accompanies the meeting and recording. You can contribute to this document beforehand. Final notes document includes timestamps to go along with the video, so you can use the doc to skip around and view the parts of the video that interest you most. The meeting tends to run 30 to 60 minutes. After each meeting, we post a link for next meeting's notes document in the CircuitPython dev channel on the Adafruit Discord. Check the pinned messages, find the latest notes doc, so you can add your notes for the following meeting. If you wish to participate but cannot attend, you can leave hug reports and status updates in the document for us to read during the meeting. And the meeting is held in 5 parts. First part is community news, followed by state of CircuitPython, libraries, and Blinka. Third part is hug reports, fourth part is status updates, and fifth part is in the weeds. And that covers how the meeting will go. And with that, let's get started with community news. So big headline this time was CircuitPython 9.2.7 and CircuitPython 10 Alpha 2 released. New versions of CircuitPython are out now, but there's exciting changes in the works. CircuitPython 9.2.7 is the latest bug fix version of CircuitPython and is a new stable release. The 9.2.x branch will be held to bug fixes only. Newly created 10.0 Alpha branch contains new features and removes deprecated items. Today, there was also a new episode of CircuitPython Show. In the latest episode of CircuitPython Show, Paul hosts a panel discussion with guests Cooper, Jeff Epler, Mark, and Todd Kurt. They discuss the new audio effects available in CircuitPython, how they started, available effects, and the hardware needed. I listened this morning, and it's a very good episode. Highly recommend. And then Project of the Week this week, Yakru108 has created a game device with a Raspberry Pi Pico and dual LCD displays. The game is programmed in CircuitPython, a lightweight Python firmware for microcontrollers. The ST7789 displays are used for real-time game rendering, focusing on efficient multi-display management. And that was on Hackaday and YouTube. These news items and more are available in our weekly Python for Microcontrollers newsletter, which goes out via email on Monday mornings. Visit adafruitdaily.com to subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks to Anne for putting the newsletter together. If you have any Python on hardware projects to share or find content you'd like to see included, please consider contributing to the newsletter. You can open a PR on GitHub in the CircuitPython weekly newsletter repo, tag Anne Engineer or hashtag CircuitPython on Mastodon or X, or email cpnews@adafruit.com with the link. And that is community news. Next up is state of CircuitPython, libraries, and Blinka. This is a quantitative overview of the entire project. It gives us a chance to look at the health of the project separate from our status updates. We'll talk about the project overall, and then separately discuss the core, libraries, and Blinka. So first up, overall, there were 28 pull requests merged by 11 authors. Some names I haven't seen before, Fast Eddie 516 and Alex Left. There were 7 reviewers, and then there were 11 closed issues by 5 people and 13 opened by 11 people. And next we'll hear from Scott about the core.
Hello, thank you Liz for hosting. So for the core, we had 16 pull requests merged from 8 different authors. Sent infrequent contributors, Fast8516, Relic SE, and Buck Nala. Thanks to those infrequent contributors. Those of you who are frequent and I didn't say, thank you to you as well. We have 4 reviewers, and I just want to highlight ADCC, who's a new reviewer and has started working with us at Adafruit, which is awesome. We have 18 open pull requests, which is well under our goal of 25, so that's awesome as well. Issues-wise, we had 8 closed issues by 3 people, 5 open by 5 people, so we're net down 3 for a total of 765 open issues. We use the milestone system to track prioritization for Adafruit-funded development and developers. Kind of the highest priority right now is the 10.0.0 milestone, which is 35 open issues. These are issues we hope to get fixed before 10.0 goes stable. We do also have an 11.0.0 for that has 7 open issues. This is kind of like longer term, next year sort of release. We have 0 open issues on 9.2x. So nothing on the 9.2 branch that we need to fix, which is awesome. And we have 0 issues not assigned to milestones, so we're keeping up with triage as well. That's where we are on the core.
Great, thank you, Scott. And now we'll hear from Tim about the libraries.
All right, thanks, Liz. This section covers all of the CircuitPython libraries, which are split into 2 main buckets, so to speak. We have the Adafruit library bundle, which currently has 355 libraries in it, and the community library bundle, which has 159 libraries in it, to make a total of 514 libraries right now. All of the Adafruit libraries can be found on GitHub under names like Adafruit_CircuitPython_, and then the name of whatever library it is. These tend to be either driver libraries that help you interface with a particular breakout or chip, or helper libraries that allow you to kind of create a project at a bit of a higher level without worrying about as many of the details for display and things like that, other helper libraries. Across all of the Adafruit libraries this week, we had 12 pull requests merged by 6 different authors. The names on this list for libraries that are newer or less frequent, to my eye at least, are Relic SE and Alex Left. We don't see those from week to week in the library column too much, I don't think. So thank you to those folks, as well as our other library authors, which are appearing here a bit more frequently. We had 4 reviewers as well, mostly normal folks that we see in this list week to week, thanks to Scott and Lady Ada and myself for some reviews this week. We, in terms of the pull requests that were merged, they were all pretty much on the newer side of things. The oldest one was getting to be about 2 weeks. It was 13 days, and the newest one was 1 day, like usual. That leaves us with 50 open pull requests at the end of the week, the end of the last 7 days, I should say. The oldest one of those is a draft that's out there hanging on at 963 days, and the newest one is 1 day. In terms of issues, we had 3 issues closed by 3 people, with 8 new issues opened up by 7 people. And that leaves us currently with 715 open issues across all of the Adafruit libraries. And there are currently 3 of those right now that are labeled as good first issues, which you can find listed over at circuitpython.org/contributing. Check out the new circuitpython.org while you're there. It looks super cool. If you are interested in contributing to CircuitPython on the Python side of things, that is the website that you should head to. Again, it's circuitpython.org/contributing. When you first load up the page, you'll see a big list of open PRs that are links to GitHub. This is the place where we tend to point folks who are just getting involved for the first time. You can take a look through that list, find either a PR that links to a device that you have the hardware for or that you have some interest in. Click over to GitHub and then leave a review on that PR. So it's waiting for someone to come along and review the code, to try it out, and to leave a comment on GitHub letting us know what they found and how it went if they were able to try it. So if that sounds like it would be interesting to you, please give it a try. If you want to get your hands dirty writing some of your own code rather than reviewing, on that same page at circuitpython.org/contributing, if you click over to issues along the top navigation, there's an issues link. If you click that, you'll see a similar looking page with links to GitHub, but these ones, I should say, represent issues on GitHub. They don't have any code submitted already. They are waiting for a person to come along who's willing to write some code and submit it as a PR to resolve whatever that issue may be, either a bug fix or a new feature or enhancement or something like that. So Again, if you're looking to get involved, you can look through that list of issues, find something that is interesting to you or that you've got the hardware for, click through to GitHub, read up on the issue, figure out what it's about, and then work on making the change to the library that would resolve it and submit that change as a pull request. If you haven't done that before and you need help, we have a guide to contributing to CircuitPython using Git and GitHub. We also have folks who are around throughout the week on the Discord who are more than happy to help you out. So if you would like to contribute, be it reviewing or contributing your own code, and you are having trouble with any part of the process, the actions or the version control or any of the checks or anything like that, please just come say hi on Discord. Let us know what you're up to and what kind of trouble you're running into. We'd be happy to help you out. And I will leave you with new and updated libraries this week. The new one in the Adafruit bundle is the TLV 320 audio driver, and the new one over in the community bundle is for the TTP 229 device. And that's what we've got for libraries. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. And now I will read about Blinka. Blinka is our compatibility layer for CircuitPython on single board computers like Raspberry Pi. This week there were 0 pull requests merged, but there are 30 open pull requests, 0 closed issues, and 0 new issues. There are currently 152 total open issues, and there are 146 supported boards. And that is the state of CircuitPython libraries and Blinka. Next up is Hug Reports. Hug Reports is a chance to highlight folks in the CircuitPython community and beyond for doing awesome things. I'll start, and then we'll go down the list of Hug Reports alphabetically. If you're text only or missing the meeting, I'll read your notes when I get to them in the list. So I will kick things off with a group hug, and then we'll hear from Dan.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Thanks to Relic SE, who updated the biquad filter that's being used in SynthIO and stuff for 10.0 alpha. But there was a biquad class. It was replaced by block biquad, and now incompatibly in 10, we've gotten rid of the old biquad because block biquad subsumes it, but it has a slightly different API. So it is again called only biquad. But thanks to Relic SE for making those changes. Thanks to Scott for quick fixes on USB host issues, which made kind of a nice complete set of stuff for the first release 10.00 alpha. And thanks finally to W2 Amura, who has been doing the Brazilian Portuguese translation for years and years and years, ever since we started doing translations. And unfortunately, has to take a break for right now. But this translator has been one of our most reliable and always is there to quickly update any new messages that have come in. We're really grateful to them for all the work they've done on this translation, which is probably the most complete one besides English right now. I mean, there are many others that are quite complete, but this was really right up to date. So thank you very much, W2 Wellington, for all the work that you did. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Now we'll hear from Foamy Guy.
All right, I have some Hug Reports this week, thanks to NearDoc for updates in the bitmap saver library for Display.io 10.x API changes. Thanks to Dan for making new releases and for working on the 10.x bundle building in various different repos, and a group hug to everyone here. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll read from Mark. So to Cooper and Tanu for testing reviewing the chorus effect, Paul Cutler for having him back for a panel discussion on audio effects in the CircuitPython show that came out today, and a group hug. And now we'll hear from Scott.
Hello. Okay, so one quick hug from me for Tim, foamy guy who has been doing all the CP games related stuff for a long, long time. And now they're working on getting it on the Fruit Jam, and I'm just super excited and happy to work with Tim and help join it all together into one, hopefully performant and cohesive thing.
Awesome, thank you. And now I'll read for Toddbot. To Mark and Cooper for all the cool SynthIO audio effects work, Paul Cutler for his podcast empire, and Dan H for new releases and his RP2350 E9 efforts. And that's going to wrap up Hug Reports. Next, we'll go to status updates. So status updates is our time to tell folks what we're up to individually. I will start and we'll go through the list of updates alphabetically. When I call on you, take a couple minutes to talk about what you've been doing since the last meeting and what you'll be doing until the next meeting. If the discussion becomes too long for status updates, we can move it to In the Weeds. So this past week, I worked on some CircuitPython code for an asteroid tracker targeting the 2024 YR4 asteroid. I used two free NASA APIs, the Sentry and Close Approach APIs, to fetch the date, percentage chance of an Earth impact, luckily very low, and how many miles it will be from the Earth and the Moon. I added the Moon because actually the Moon impact looked more likely last week, but that also seems to have gone down, so good for us. To make the display a little more interesting, I added a small asteroid bitmap that flies across the display diagonally. I was able to make the background transparent, so it adds a little bit more visual interest than just a static data display. And then this week, from Wednesday to Friday, I'm going to be out on a quick vacation to visit some family, so I'm looking forward to that. And now we'll hear from Dan.
All right. So let's see, a minor thing. The new products feed in Discord was broken. Discord user noticed that, and Phil from Adafruit fixed it by changing the way it's integrated. So you can see new products again in Discord. As mentioned, I released CircuitPython 10.0.0 Alpha 2 last Friday, and there'll be more alphas on a regular basis coming up. One thing that's not quite CircuitPython related all completely is that in the latest version of Chrome OS, or latest now 2 versions, the recognition of SAMD UF2 boot drives is not working on Chromebooks, which is odd because it still works for all the other UF2 bootloaders. This is really frustrating to people who are using Chromebooks in classrooms. So I've done some initial investigation on this. I will file an issue on Chrome OS, and I'll try to give them some USB traces, but it's sort of out of our hands at some point right now. And meanwhile, I'm just fixing bugs for the 10.0 release and reviewing PRs and that kind of stuff. Okay.
Great, thank you. Now we'll hear from ADCC.
Right. So this past week, I've been deep in the weeds on an issue that is a crashing bug affecting ESP32S3s that manifests while running an idle HTTP host. Unfortunately, going deep with JTAG and a variety of ESP-IDF and OpenRTOS debugging tools, I haven't been able to isolate it quite yet. So I'm putting it aside for the time being and moving on to other 10.0.0 milestone issues. And that's my plan for next week or this week rather, is to work on those 10.0.0 issues. And that's it.
Great, thank you. And now we'll hear from Foamy Guy.
All right, thanks, Liz. I last week worked on some examples for mice reading. There was a change in main for a little bit that changed the way that the mice present themselves with USB host, and they send different amounts of data back. So I updated, first I figured out where the data in the new size of packet was and updated some examples to be able to read both different packet sizes, although I have since learned that it might be more complicated than that. So that story is not quite complete, perhaps. The other stuff that I got into, though, was reviewing changes in the bitmap saver. And I attempted to make some changes in the core as well that kind of would ride along with that bitmap saver update to make it work for 8-bit color displays. And I got it sort of working. It can save a screenshot, but the screenshot colors are not quite right, so we're not there all the way. The memory game that I was working on for a little bit is the learn guide for that is published now. I did some last minute updates and wrote the blog for that last week, and that is out there now. I have refactored a class that was called Sized Group, which was used by the desktop launcher code into a new thing called Anchored Group, and added a couple of new features to it for being able to use anchor positioning with it. And I cookie cut a repo for that, but haven't added it to the bundle yet, but intend to this week. And then everything else I have is all around the next game that I'm working on, which I am calling now Match 3. It's a game that is based on the card game called Set. I made some new sprites for it and a new title screen. I added that same mouse support for the 2 different sizes of mouse packets to it. And I also added support for the 720 by 400 display size, so it will scale up the UI if you are on that size, or it will leave it at normal size if you're on the lower one. And then I did also last week get autosave and resume working with both the CP saves drive and SD card, which I think is super cool. So you can actually play the game and reset the device or turn it off and put it down and then come back to it later, and it picks you back up right in the same spot, which is super cool. And that is what I've got. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you, Tim. And now we'll hear from Scott.
Hello. I've got 3.5 weeks until I'm on paternity leave again. So my focus is on what we're calling FruitJam OS. There's now a repository there, and its goal is to kind of like merge all of the CircuitPython FruitJam projects into one kind of cohesive thing that you can download and install using a zip file or maybe a UF2 as well. To get the launcher working better, I've added a couple things to the core that'll come in a PR this week. One is using setnext code file will allow you to set the working directory to run that code file from. And then I also couldn't help myself, and my friend Claude helped me add pathlib support. So if you're a Python user, pathlib is kind of the modern way of doing like file system traversal, so seeing if files exist and iterating over all of them in a directory and stuff. It's been around for ages, but we haven't had it in CircuitPython. We had to use like OS stuff, but pathlib is super nice. So Claude did a quite good job at generating a lot of the boilerplate, and so I'm using that now. I ended deep dive with some sort of crash. I think it was trying to get the snake game going. So I got to load that context back in my brain and keep working on this kind of OS thing.
All right, thank you. And that's going to wrap up status updates. Next up is In the Weeds. In the Weeds is an opportunity for long-form discussions that either come out of status updates or that folks have identified ahead of time. If you have any In the Weeds topics, please make sure they get added while we're discussing other things. And there is a topic today from Toddbot, who's text only, so I will read. And the topic's on Touch.io on RP 2350. Addressing Dan, he's come around to your way of thinking in the linked issue. He figures now any Touch.io is better than no Touch.io. He made a branch that implements a simple pull-up Touch.io for RP2350 here, and it's linked. And his question is, should he submit it as PR?
So my thoughts about that, about implementing a pull-up Touch.io instead of a pull-down Touch.io was, I also like wrote an initial version, and but it was kind of overruled. So I don't know what to say.
Fair.
Can you explain? I don't have the context in my brain anymore.
So because of the erratum RP2350 pull down Touch.io, generic Touch.io as implemented on RP2040 and as implemented on NRF, where we use 1 meg pull downs, it doesn't work. And in fact, that was the original way we discovered the problem with the E9 erratum for that it was more general than what they said originally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I proposed that we could make a version that adds a pull argument, or it's just set one way or the other for a particular port. But we had a discussion internally, and It was just like, well, never mind, because it'll be too confusing. So I didn't do it.
Okay. I mean, my intuition now is like we add a pull argument, and we add a pull argument so that you have to be aware of it, and
Yeah,
it defaults to down. And if you provide up on any other thing, or you provide down on 2350, it just raises an exception and tells you to go the other way.
that would be okay with me. And I was kind of proposing that kind of thing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
mean, I
right.
think at the time that we talked about it, like the E9 stuff was new and we didn't have a feeling for like, are they going to fix it?
Yeah. Right. We certainly were
And
going to
now
do
we're months
yeah.
in and they haven't fixed it. So,
Okay. All right.
I
So
mean, I think that's a way that it's not implicit at all. It's all explicit, and we get errors when we need to and all that.
right. And there's no way to do it wrong. Yeah.
And it's backwards compatible.
Yeah. Okay. So I think so. Todd
Yes.
will listen to this, or I can talk to him in Discord.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Very good. So that was in
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about it on the PR too.
Sweet. All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap things up. This has been CircuitPython Weekly for Monday, April 7th, 2025. Thank you to everyone who participated. If you want to support Adafruit and CircuitPython, and those of us that work on CircuitPython, consider purchasing from the Adafruit shop at adafruit.com. The video of this meeting will be released on YouTube at youtube.com/Adafruit, and the podcast will be available on major podcast services. It'll also be featured in the Python for Microcontrollers newsletter. Visit adafruitdaily.com to subscribe. Next meeting would be held next Monday, as usual, at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Meeting is held on the Adafruit Discord, which you can join by going to adafruit.it/Discord. To be notified about the meeting and any changes to the time or day, you can ask to be added to the CircuitPython Nistas role on Discord, and we hope to see you all next week. Thank you, everyone.